You're listening to CFRN, a community of believers who trade for a living. To learn more about who we are, what we do, and how we do it, call toll-free 1-866-928-3310, and we'll send you out a no-obligation information kit absolutely free. 866-928-3310. The CFRN Emini Futures Cast is now on Stitcher. Listen to us on your iPhone, Android phones, BlackBerry, and WebOS phones. Stitcher is smart radio for your phone. Find it in your app store or at Stitcher.com. Stitcher Smart Radio, the smarter way to listen to radio.
Are you ready, Steve? Andy? Yeah! Bert? Well, all right, fellas. Let's go!
You're listening to CFRN, the Christian Financial Radio Network.
Today's broadcast is brought to you by Audible. Get a free audiobook download at www.audibletrial.com/CFRN. Over 85,000 titles. Choose from mystery, romance, religion, science, technology, business, New York Times bestsellers, even children's books. You name it, Audible has it. With 85,000 titles to choose from, you're sure to find the perfect audiobook for yourself or to give as a gift, and it's absolutely free. Just point your browser to audibletrial.com/CFRN. That's audibletrial.com/CFRN. And become a part of the audiobook revolution by downloading your free audiobook today. audibletrial.com/CFRN.
Hey, trader, want to get rich quick? Well, good luck with that. If, on the other hand, you actually want to learn how to trade, the place to be is www.cfrn.net. Tune in Monday through Friday, 9 a.m. Eastern for our daily devotional, and then spend the next 3 hours learning how it's done from professional traders who actually trade for a living. That's www.cfrn.net. Every trading day from 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. Eastern. CFRN, a community of believers who trade for a living.
Good afternoon, traders, and welcome back to the CFRN Emini Futures Cast. This is the daily broadcast of Indeterminate Length, where we discuss all things Emini, along with some really big ideas on the finer points of trading gold, bonds, crude, sugar, the euro, and even T-bills. Joining us today from our studios in Boston, Mr. Michael Bork. From our trading desk in Chicago, Mr. Burton Schlichter. Now, to get things started, let's go to our host and founder in Studio A, overlooking South Mountain, America's largest city park. Here's Dwayne.
Good afternoon. Welcome back. Today is Tuesday, 29th day of August, 2017. Friday's the first day of September. Man, oh man, this year has really flown by. I know we say that all the time. Time flies, but duck, you might get hit by a piece of furniture or something. All right, it is Tuesday, so happy Tuesday to everybody in the audience, and to those of you that might be listening to this next Thursday, well, happy Thursday to you. Now, some of you are returning, so I want to say welcome back. And some of you are new, I want to say welcome for the very first time. I just want you all to know that we don't take it lightly that you have chosen, now into our second decade, to make us a part of your daily routine. Whether you invite us into your home, your office, your car, your walk in the park, however you do it, thank you. Thank you very much. Now, I had a bunch of stuff to do this morning, and I was tied up with a project last night. So, What the heck happened here? Michael, are you on yet?
Yeah, I'm here.
Buddy, what happened last night?
With what?
Okay, you see the S&P 500 E-mini Futures I have up?
Oh, hang on. Yeah, let me go over that. I see it, but you know what? There's a huge gap. I see the huge gap.
Mm-hmm.
But we're only looking at part of your chart. There you go.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know what happened there with that big gap.
Now,
I do not know what happened.
Now, gold and bonds, if I'm not mistaken, gap the other way. Let me get gold over here. Okay, gold gapped a little bit, but not a lot. But it's still trading 1321, so that's okay. Bonds, where are you?
See, I don't show the gap on my charts, but I'm using the 1 hour.
I was concerned about that. I was wondering if it had something to do.
On the 30-minute, it shows a gap, but on the hourly, it doesn't show a gap. So it was in that half an hour.
Now look at this.
There
Look at this gap on bonds. Goodness gracious. According to my charts, it shows that we opened at 157, and in 30 minutes we ran up 22 ticks. Let's see. Okay, they open.
Yeah, this
157, and so at 158, right here, that becomes $1,000 per contract, guys. Wowza. That's some. So, it was late when I noticed it, and when I did notice it, I said, you know what? I'm not gonna put the alerts out right now. I'm gonna wait and see what happens with this thing. And so I know some people were a little bit frustrated that the alerts came out so late, but I'm telling you now, that's why, because I wasn't sure exactly what was going on, and I didn't have Michael here to ask, so I couldn't do anything. I was frozen. All right, let's take a look at the markets around the world. Oh, if you want to see the charts that we're talking about, go to the home page at cfrn.net. On the right hand side, click the big microphone, follow the instructions. You'll be registered all the way through Thursday. On Friday, guys, we all have to register again for the month of September. Okay, it's a monthly event. It takes 30 seconds to get your 30 days. Then you can join the show every day with one-click access, and you don't have to go through a whole bunch of foolishness. Or you can go over to a place called youtube.com. Yes. And then you throw a / it's like kind of like a karate move, but not exactly, and put in CFRN / live. That's when the show's live, and bang, you get charts, chat box, you get it all. It's a different chat box than the one on the site, and for a day we were streaming the show live on the home page of our site, and then I messed up the code and I got to go back and fix it. So pretty soon we'll get back to doing that again as well, because I kind of enjoyed that. Now, I sent myself an email, and it seems to have not arrived. Now why would that be? Alright. I'm going to stop everybody dead in their tracks for a minute, and I'm going to research this. I think you'd already gone yesterday, but I showed everybody Ed Corey's backyard, and it was, he's in Houston.
Yeah, they're getting hammered.
Hammered. Oh boy. Okay. That is so odd. Have you ever sent a picture to yourself and it just didn't show up?
Nope.
You've never had that happen?
I don't think so.
See, you're a blessed man living in a blessed land. No,
I don't know about that.
That's you.
I don't know about
No. That's you. That's Michael B. All right, I'm gonna try it again. DEW. That's my name. Okay. Okay. Send. Yeah. Okay. It should pop in right now. Right now.
Right now.
Okay, well, I guess I'll just go. I guess I'll just read. I guess I'll just read the numbers, and then maybe it'll show up later or something. I don't know. Might be because I didn't put a subject line. Sometimes Google weirds out about that. So let me try filtering it to Dwayne Reeves at Gmail. Nope. Now, yesterday when I emailed myself Ed Corey's backyard, look at that. That picture came in just fine because he sent it as a text message to my phone.
And there's another 15 inches coming today.
Well, he said that this got up to within 4 feet of his fence right here in his backyard. He's on a golf course. Then it receded, and you're right. And there's more on the way. So he asked yesterday that we keep everybody, and I think he phrased it as East Texas. My wife takes a lot of pictures with her phone, and she says she has a real problem with them showing up sometimes. So anyway, I'll get it later. It's not that big a deal. Okay, guys, we're going to take, now that you all know how to look at the charts, we're going to take a look at the numbers real quick, and then Michael will do a recap of everything that happened in the live trading room today. I was in there for a few minutes, Michael, and then I popped out because that software was still running in the background and still bogging down my computer, and I finally figured, you know what, something's got to be wrong. So I just shut it down. Now I got to take another run at it. Okay, guys, here in the US of A, these are the cash markets. The Dow is up almost 11 points. The NASDAQ is up 7.5 points. S&P 500 is down 2.5 points. And the Russell 2000 is down 3.5 points. So, mixed markets, okay? Now, with the Dow being positive and the S&P being negative, we know by the end of the day that's going to sort itself out. One of them's headed in the right direction. By the right direction, I mean where the market's going to end up closing for the day. Is it the Dow, which is up almost 9, or is it the S&P, which is down almost 3? I don't know. But by the end of the session, they'll be on the same side of the street. In the commodity basket, crude oil down again today. This is so odd with this storm and gas prices, skyrocketing. Crude keeps falling. This is like some kind of, I don't like to talk about manipulated markets because I just don't. But anyway, crude oil is down 65 cents. Trading 45.92 last, and that's a drop of almost 1.5% after being down yesterday, I think almost 2%. Now we're at 45.92, Michael, and our lowest weekly trading zone for crude is 45.50/55. Did we dip below that today?
I don't think we did. No, we got down to 45.76 today. Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, no, that's right. 45.76. Yep. Okay. That's what we got.
All right. So now this is futures. I'm reading you the cash market numbers, and now, oh, look at that thing. It hit it right to the tick, didn't it? Oh yeah, no, it didn't. The zone is at 75, and the swing low of this candle is at 76. Now, yesterday we had a huge sell-off, $1,452 per contract available if you sold 47.65, which was the Concierge Trade Alert. And then, this is a 30-minute chart, but price behaves on a 30-minute the same way it does on the range chart, same way it would on a daily chart. Got a little bit of a bullish cross, but no price ever pulled away, so there was no trade setups. Then bearish cross, price pulled away, price pulled back to physically touch, down close, sell the open of the next candle, and that candle opened at 46.60, and it went right down to 45.75. That's almost $1,000 per contract, just shy. So, wow. Now, I don't show a gap on crude last night. Did anybody in the chat box say that they... Oh, I think somebody in the YouTube chat box mentioned NOCO missile, North Korea missile launch. Okay. Nowhere for the producers to deliver the oil. Refineries are shut down, so trucks and pipeline are shut off and creating a backlog of oil. Thank you, Joe. Joe B. That explains it. Dwayne, is Garrett Jones on the show today by chance? You know, I called him, texted him, and emailed him yesterday because he called me last week and said, I got something really exciting and I want to come on Monday. And I said, okay. I called him, texted him, and emailed him, and I didn't hear from him. And so, while Michael's doing the recap, I'm going to try that again. So, if I get a hold of him as soon as I come back on, I'll let you know, Richard. Okay? So, crude oil trading 45.89 last, and gold, go gold, up $6.39, trading 1321.70 last. Okay? The Asian markets, let's see what we got. Okay, mixed markets there, not by much, mostly red. The Nikkei closed down 87 points, half of 1%. Shanghai was up almost 3 points. Almost, not quite, but almost 3 points. And that's what mixed the Asian markets, because the Hang Seng closed down 98 points. And no movers and shakers really in that bunch. And the color of the day in Europe is red as far as the eye can see. The FTSE closed down 64 points. That's almost 1%. The DAX closed down 177 points. That's 1.5%. And the CAC closed down 47 points. That is 1%. So Asia mixed, Europe red, and in the US we're mixed here too, with the Dow showing positive 12 points, NASDAQ up 9, S&P down almost 2, and the Russell 2000 down almost 4. So that's the name of that tune. So, Michael, if you, sir, are ready, and if you want to... Yeah, let me look at one thing real quick. Okay, that's all right. I'll look at it when I come back.
Oops, okay.
Yeah, no, that's no problem. No problem.
Alright, there it goes. And now, we need to put this up. There we go.
Is this going to be really short or medium length? Or
It's probably really short. I only had 5 trades today.
You only had 5 trades, huh?
Yeah, it was a really flat red day.
That's wacky to banky. Okay, then I'll run down to the Keurig machine, and I want saunter. Okay. I want saunter the way I normally do.
Okay.
You know.
You go ahead down.
I won't crump. I'll just scoot down there. Okay.
All right. Here we go. And I'll talk slow. All right. Good afternoon, everyone. Today is Tuesday, the 29th day of August. I can't believe it's the 29th day of August already. I'm going to put in here the link to the 1:15 meeting today. Okay. Hang on. Here it is. This is the link to the 1:15 meeting this afternoon. In this meeting this afternoon, I will go over these trade setups. The 137B, the inverted 137B, the 164, and the 128. Okay, I will go over those in this meeting this afternoon. Now, let's just start with this. All right, if you have not taken the free trial with us, you simply need to go to the home page here at cfrn.net. See how slow I'm talking? Go to the home page here at cfrn.net, and when you do, this little banner is going to pop down on the top. It says sign up for the CFRN Live Training Room, 100% free trial, user indicators, learn our strategy. Click here. And when you click there, you will be brought to this page where we just need your email and your first name. At some point, we're going to have another box in there that says, where did you hear about us? Because we really do need to know that. But anyway, that is what you do to get the free trial. Once you do that, you'll be sent a confirmation link. You must click on the confirmation link. Okay? If you don't click the confirmation link, then you will not get the free trial. Okay? And yeah, Joe, sorry, I got sidetracked reading this comment about producers to deliver the oil and refineries shut down, trucks and pipelines shut off, creating a backlog. I went and bought a week's worth of gas yesterday. I think I said that this morning. A week's worth of gas in 5-gallon cans because we get all our oil, all our gas up here from Texas. And in the past, when things go bad down there, things go bad up here as far as supply. Anyway, so I showed you how to get the free trial. Okay, so now I'm going to go to the recap. Now, if you're going to read the recap, you're going to read all the CFTC risk disclosures down at the bottom. We had a down day today, guys. We were at minus 15 ticks on the euro. We lost 2 trades, and we won 1 for just 1 tick, and then we had a break even. There really wasn't a lot of movement until after 11:30. I'll show you that. The thing is, I'm trapped into a 2-hour window. You got to remember that when you're looking at these numbers. I have a 2-hour window. Okay, and so I have to stop. As far as the recording goes, I have to stop after the 2 hours. But there was some good opportunity after the 2 hours to make this positive and get the goal for the day. Anyway, we're minus 15 ticks on the euro. That's minus 93.75. Took 5 trade opportunities. And so on the month now, we're at $2,725. That's over 21 days, averaging $129 per day. Now, on the year, we're at 24,260. That's over 162 days, averaging $149 per day. So it's 129 here, 149 here. We'll get both of those up. Hopefully, I know Friday's a big news event day, but today we had one news event. It was consumer confidence, and it came in higher than expected. Didn't have any effect on the market, but it came in higher than expected anyway. All right, so let's start out with gold. Now, we had one opportunity here on gold, and it was a break even. All right, I didn't do this because the cycle was going up too steep. Same thing here, and here the cycle was just wrong, and it just kept going down and down and down. We couldn't do this because we had it was a momentum trade going into support. Then we broke support, pulled back up, and then it was the end of the room. There was one shorting opportunity right here, right there. That would have made up all the negative stuff that we had this morning. There was also a shorting opportunity right here that could have given us most of what we had going on this morning. Okay. On the euro, we missed this one. We stopped out here, we stopped out there, and we got one tick there. Okay, that's how we ended up with negative 15 on the euro. There was no trade here because it was going into dynamic. It was a momentum trade going into dynamic resistance. Okay, so there was nothing there. During the break, there was a shorting opportunity there and there, and that was it. On the crude, there was one shorting opportunity here that I missed that would have made up for all the euro stuff, but it was right there, and we missed it. And then, well, there was a shorting opportunity right here for that leg down, and we changed directions, and that's it. On the soybeans, we had nothing. You start out right here. I didn't want to do this because we weren't trending, and if we did do it, you would have had a break even right there. And then it came back, it bounced off the BBC right here, again, not trending, so we didn't do anything. So we just left the soybeans alone. I mean, this was the whole morning right here on the soybeans. It's a total mess. And the ES had a long opportunity right here. Okay, it pulled back, bounced off the BBC, and then went up. And that was really all that there was. That was all that there was on the ES. So, I mean, the markets just did not give any opportunity today. I don't know why, but they did not. Okay. Again, these were the news events. It was a high-impact news event that had no effect on the market at all. So I'm thinking that it's got a lot to do with what's going on down in Texas right now. All right. So today, 8.29, we lost 15 ticks on the euro. That's minus 93.75. We took 5 trade opportunities, and the gross on the month now, 27.25. That's over 21 days, averaging 129 a day. That's the gross. Gross on the year, 24,260. That's over 162 days, averaging 149 per day. Okay. If you have not taken our free trial, we give a dramatic pause so Dwayne can get back in his seat. If you have not taken our free trial, then just go to the home page here at cfrn.net, and up here at the top, this little banner is going to pop that says sign up for the CFRN Live Training Room, 100% free trial, use our indicators, and learn our strategy. Click here. When you click there, it's going to bring you to this page where we just need you to put in your email and your first name and hit that submit button. Once you do, it's required. Once you do, then you will be brought to you'll be sent a confirmation link is what will happen. You'll be sent a confirmation link, and you must click on that confirmation link. Okay, if you don't click the confirmation link, well then you won't get a free trial. You've got to click that confirmation link to get what you're looking for, because we have this thing called a double opt-in that prevents us from spamming people. Because we don't like spam, and we don't want to spam. All right. So with that, I don't know if Dwayne is back in Studio A in fabulous Phoenix, Arizona, overlooking the nation's largest city park. But if he is, then he can take the charts. And if he's not, well, then we can just look at what's going on. And so far, I'm guessing he's not. Right. So we don't have anything here because the black step line crossed below the BBC. Soybeans put in a higher swing, but well, they put in a higher swing, but they're not really moving. Nothing on ES. ES is just a dog. And
Ooh, let the
crude oil's
dogs out.
yeah, crude oil's not trending. See that? I talked really slow.
You did good, man. That's awesome. By the way, Richard Garrett is going to come Thursday for sure. He's got to go down to LA to pick up his wife, but he said he has some good stuff for us.
Good.
Good stuff. Good stuff.
All right. Well,
So
if you want to take
North Korea launched a missile over Japan, and so Steve over in the YouTube chat room, he says that was the reason for that gap on some of the markets last night. So, okay.
that was their 21st missile this year. That's as many as they launched last year.
See, here's what I'm afraid of. I'm not as much worried about him striking America or Japan. I'm concerned about him, like fat fingering the trade. And, I mean, I can just see him looking at the other guys in the room, and he goes, "Uh-oh," Can somebody call Trump and tell him I hit the wrong button? I don't know. Maybe he really does want to blow us off the face of the map. I don't know.
Well, it's going to take more than one missile.
Yeah.
But it won't take more than one missile to start the whole thing.
I'm just curious if that thing I read the other day is true, that they have some satellites in relatively low orbit around the Earth, and that those satellites have the capability of sending out an EMP, an electromagnetic pulse, that could destroy our electrical grid here in the U.S. Cars won't run. For years we could be hamstrung like that. I think that article is not true, because I think it would be so much, because if he wants to do us harm, then why not just do that? I mean, I don't think the satellites can really do that. That's what I'm thinking.
I don't know. That's way above my pay grade.
Somebody made that up just because they wanted to get on the. Oh, let me see. I sent that picture again. It still didn't come. I've sent it to different names, different addresses. This time
send it to me.
I even gave it a. Oh, now that's an idea. I'll send it to you. I even gave it a subject line this time. Okay. Oh, mama. Bing, 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 bing. Okay. Gotta do that. Gotta touch the camera. Gotta touch the picture. Gotta hit send.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's right, Pete. If you would think China would be a little more proactive here, because if the U.S. gets blown off the map, then who's going to buy their stuff? That's right.
Right. all those plastic ninjas at Peter Piper's Pizza, who's going to buy those things?
Okay, I got a text.
You got a text? I sent you an email.
I got a text.
Oh, you know what? I'm sorry. You're right.
It shows a picture, but I'm not sure it's the picture you want.
Well, it is.
Okay.
But
Well, here, I can download it and send it to myself.
Let me just let me just try to email it to you. It'll only take a second. I had one of those cramps. Okay. To my dear friend Michael. Okay. Subject pick. Okay. And then, oh, wait a minute. You can't do it that way. Oh. You know that article, I think you were gone the other day when we started talking about it. That article about me being Sheriff Joe Arpaio's money launderer. It's still floating around out there. I Googled it, and it just, because we were talking about, somehow we ended, John and I were talking about Trump pardoning Arpaio, and it reminded me of that, article, and I Googled it, and there it was. You know, how do you launder money? Do you put $20 in your jeans and say, honey, can you do my laundry?
Put it in the wash.
It makes no sense. Now, I did a video last night. I don't know how many of you guys had a chance to watch it or not, but at the end of the video, I walked you through our different social media places.
Okay. I got the picture.
Okay. And
Want to see?
Yesterday morning, we were at 125, and this morning we were at 95. I'm thinking some of you folks watched that video and you went over there and you subscribed or did something, because now that's 95 out of thousands upon thousands of business podcasts. Okay, so considering that the last time I uploaded something was August 12th or August 13th, when I had that fellow from Bitcoin Magazine, the CTO, on, because it's such a laborious process, because I used to do the audio podcast every day without fail, never missed a day. But once I added video, oh God, you got to go through this whole process of uploading to this one site. That takes an hour or two. And then you gotta convert it, and you gotta download it back down, and then you gotta upload it to our site, because you gotta have an MP4 extension on the video file. And it's a long story. Let's just leave it at that.
Okay. Well, there is the picture. You see,
So
we are at number
guys,
95.
now we got down all the way to 25 recently. I don't know what happened. I woke up one day and it's like, man. Remember I was telling you guys, help us break into the top 10? Because it's like, if you ever get into the top 10, then you're like famous forever. It's not just 15 minutes of fame. It's like, you're
Pretty
awesome.
close.
You get a call from Fortune Magazine. Like the guy who was on 2 weeks ago, John Lee Dumas.
Mm-hmm.
He made $4 million in 2 years doing one webinar a week, using that link that I sent you, using that software.
Mm-hmm.
And his buddy coached him and taught him how to do it the right way. And yeah, he rocked the boat, man. So, and it was not Fortune, I think it was Forbes magazine that interviewed him. So he's did you hang around that day for the interview?
No, I don't think I was here.
23, he was in charge of a platoon or a brigade or something over in Iraq or Afghanistan. I don't know. You can listen to the interview. It's pretty interesting. Just fast forward to the second hour. So, I mean, at 23, he was in charge of all these other men. He was the boss. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, yeah.
When you were in the Air Force, were you the boss of anybody?
I was.
You were? I just cleaned toilets. That's all I did.
I was. I had my guys.
I had an IQ of 135, and I was originally going to be a nuclear physicist, but then my off-duty activities got me in so much trouble that I spent my entire naval career cleaning the head. That was my job every day. And, I mean, I did a nice job. I never failed inspection once. They'd come around about 11 o'clock. I mean, I would be done by 9:30, and I would just sit in one of the stalls and read. That was before iPods and stuff, and iPads. You know.
Yeah, before. When you had to actually go to the library and get a book.
Right, exactly.
The old days.
You know, my kids love to go to the library. It might have something to do that we won't let them use the internet, but they really,
that's probably, they use the internet at the library.
they love books. They do. They both love to read.
You know what's funny is I read a ton of books. and
What
I
kind
read
of books?
probably 1 or 2 a week, and 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 I like to have a book in my hands. I don't like to read them online. I don't like iPad reading books, Kindle, all that kind of crap.
I have never read an entire book on a Kindle or iPad. I'm not comfortable with that either. But what kind of books do you read? Fiction, nonfiction?
Nonfiction, for the most part. They're kind of semi-fiction.
Mysteries or
No.
whodunits, romance?
No. Well, over here on this pile, I have 4 SEAL Team 6 books.
Oh,
And-
Gabe would love that. I think he had one SEAL Team 6 book. I didn't know there was more than one.
I have 6 in the series. I read them all. And then there's 2 more that the History Channel made into an actual TV show.
Hmm.
And
Oh,
Then-
there's a show you would probably love. It's either on Amazon Prime or Netflix. It's called Shooter. This guy was a sniper in Iraq or Afghanistan or wherever, and he's like one of the best shots in the world. And after his time was up, he came back home. He's got this workshop filled with all these crazy different kinds of guns, and he wanted to live a quiet life with his family. But the government came.
and his guns.
The government
guns.
and his guns, yeah. The government came and said, "We need your help. Somebody's going to assassinate the president, and you're the only one that can figure out." And blah blah blah. So,
Oh, they made it into a movie, I think. I watched it.
well, it's a TV show now, and it's.
How is it?
We watched season 1,
Okay.
and I don't know. It just kind of got. It was like the same. Season 2 was like more of the same, and so. With so much to watch, we bug out pretty quick if it doesn't really grab a hold of us.
Yeah.
The Greenleaf. So, do you guys go to a mega church, or do you go to a small church, or?
It's a small church.
Yeah. Have you ever been a part of a mega church at all?
I haven't. I mean, they have them in town. They have them here. I mean, they're huge,
Yeah.
huge churches. But I haven't gone there.
There's one here in Phoenix that's so big. It's like a stadium or something. I forget how many it seats on a Sunday morning. But up in like the nosebleed seats, there's actually a restaurant up there with all these windows overlooking the crowd and the stage. And so if you want to sit up there and have breakfast or something, or have coffee and just, listen and watch from there, you can. And then North Phoenix Baptist, I know some people over there. They got a basketball court and a skating rink, and a full-blown gymnasium.
Yeah,
It's amazing. And Phoenix First up in North Phoenix, I think they got their own zip code. That place is so big.
there's one here on the way to the airport here in Hickory. There's one here that's, I mean, it is huge. I think it's a Lutheran church. And I mean, it's huge. But it's like a warehouse huge. And it's got one giant warehouse that goes into 2 other giant warehouses. And, when I say giant warehouse, I'm talking like 200 by 300 foot warehouse. And yeah, that's a big building. And I just want to go look inside someday.
Oh, the reason I mentioned this to the audience, I think yesterday. We stumbled across a show called Greenleaf. Greenleaf, one word. And it's about a mega church somewhere in the South. I don't know if it's in Tennessee. I think maybe it's in Memphis. I'm not sure. But it is a church of people of color. I guess that's the proper. I don't know what you say today. I don't know if you say African American or anyway. But this whole family, they live in this huge mansion on this huge property behind security gates and stuff, and they seat 4,000 people on a Sunday morning, and they got all the fancy cars, and they got servants, and everybody. And I told the audience, I go, you know what, I'm gonna stop watching it because it's gotten kind of everybody's sleeping with everybody else, but it's all the politics and stuff that go on in on Sunday everybody behaves. They put on their nice clothes and they come to church and behave. But it's, do you ever watch West Wing?
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
it's kind of like that, except it's a church and all the stuff that goes on behind the scenes. But 4,000, that's really not that huge. Matt Chandler down in Denton, Texas, he runs like 12 services every weekend. And Mark Driscoll up in Seattle, who quit and walked out, he had built 13 campuses, and God, they held like, I don't know, 30-something services over the course of the weekend across the 13 campuses. And if he wasn't, wherever, he would go to one campus each week to preach, and all the other campuses, they had these huge big screen TVs, like a Jumbotron, and people would go there to watch him on the big screen. He started that church in his living room, Mars Hill. We play him a lot on CFRN radio. He started it in his living room with a bunch of college kids, and it exploded because he's such an incredibly gifted, charismatic speaker. I mean, and I had some discussions with some of my friends here who liked him as well and would listen to his sermons on iTunes. Last year, his sermons got downloaded 7 million times.
Wow.
But he's also a mixed martial arts guy. You know, he goes and fights, but he really thinks women should be treated. He's just a very interesting guy, man. But he disrespected some of the elders at Mars Hill, and he got called on the carpet, and he said, you know what, I need to take some time off and reflect on this. And so the elders said, okay, sure, take some time off. They just had given him a raise to $700,000 a year. He came back from his sabbatical, and he said, guys, I've given it a lot of thought, and I'm going to leave. And they're like, no, we don't want you to leave. You know, we just want you to show proper respect to the elders in the church. And he goes, no, I crossed the line, and I've hurt people, and I'm going to go. Now, I had told my friends here, I had said, don't you think Mark's starting to act a little bit like a rock star, and that more people are going there to be entertained by him than they are to, you know, have communion with God and that kind of thing. And my one friend at church was like, how dare you say that about Mark? He's the greatest guy. You know, okay. Anyway, he's moved to Phoenix now, and he's out in Scottsdale. And I don't know how many people he's running on a Sunday morning. He came and looked at my church, and he said it was just too small. He said he could use it as a recording studio once he got settled in, but that never worked out. So I'm going to go out there one Sunday morning and just see him in person. You know,
Good.
It'll be a one-time deal. But to have that many now, here's the part of the story that'll blow your mind. Within 2 months of him quitting, all the campuses, every campus closed. Thousands upon thousands upon thousands, and it proved my point that they were going to see him, not to see God. Right? And that's not cool. I mean, so, okay, that's my story. I'll let you go, man.
Okay.
I know you got probably
meeting.
You got things to hunt, fish to catch.
I got that meeting in 20 minutes now.
Oh, I forgot all about that. Hey, are you going to try out that software I suggested? Oh, you probably you might not have got the memo.
I'm not sure I got that memo.
Okay.
There were a couple memos that I got that were videos to watch, but
yeah. Well, no, I sent you a couple podcasts. If you could listen to those podcasts, it'd be awesome. And
okay.
Oh, and the guy in the podcast, John Lee, is the guy that was on the show a couple weeks ago, who made $4 million in 2 years.
Yeah.
And it's with that software. So get after it. Okay.
Right.
Later, dude.
All right. See you later.
All right, buddy.
I have the charts,
recap
by
of the
way.
recap. Yeah. What was
I was down 15 ticks on the euro today.
I
I did not get the goal for the day.
Did not
It was a red
go.
day. Nope.
Now, but he still showed up on the show here and went through everything with you, just like he always does. Good day, bad day, ugly day, indifferent day. We don't sweep stuff under the carpet, guys.
We had our best day of the year and our worst day of the year this month.
Huh. Freaky.
So,
Freaky
yeah,
deaky.
our best day of the year was more than twice our worst day of the year. So that's what you take away from that.
That's good. That's awesome. Okay, let me see if John's in the audience. Yes, he is. Once again, guys, Garrett will be here Thursday at 1, and I'm going to open John's mic right now. So, John, here I come. Hey, John, welcome to the show.
Hi there.
How are you? Well, I'm doing pretty good.
Not too bad, thanks. Not too bad. We've had a very, very good rally off this dramatic down move we had last night. And actually, it's kind of playing into what we were talking about yesterday, which is this flag formation. You know, it is characteristic of these flags to have a kind of a sharp sell-off and a kind of reversal. And if you look at the dailies right now, that's sort of going on here. We've got a potentially very bullish candle developing.
Mm-hmm.
And we've only got 2 days left till the end of the month. So tomorrow, if we can continue this up move tomorrow, we could actually be breaking out on the upside. And as I may have mentioned yesterday, actually getting above, remember I said the Dow could break above 22,000 to about 22,200. Don't think it quite got up there, actually. I think it got to 22,150, somewhere like that. But, you know, once we start getting back up towards 22,000, it sort of puts that more as a milestone than necessarily a way, than a milestone or waypoint rather than a top. But obviously that would be negated potentially if we were to break below today's lows. That would change the picture to potentially quite bearish. But for the moment, we're on the way back up. And incidentally, those stocks we talked about yesterday, like Juno, has taken off today, very, very bullish. And LEBU is clawing its way back as well, which we got long earlier this morning. And we actually yesterday we were long the UVXY, and I accidentally didn't get out of it. And we, even though we were long and then we were out, and I got back in and I didn't get out of it, so we ended up being long the the negatives overnight, and effectively out of the SVXY and the XIV overnight as well. So we were very fortunate there that we didn't get caught, and we also had a sell stop underneath the market, so that we immediately triggered a sell last night, caught the down move and reversed it long sort of during the night, with some contingency orders to buy above, which have rallied up, you know, extremely impressively so far, considering what happened. So we're running into a little bit of trouble here, I think, just now, which might cause a bit of a pullback. But so far so good. We're holding up. The gold also, we sold the gold and silver right at the highs this morning, and the silver stocks, so gold and silver stocks as well. They've taken quite a hit since the market recovered. At some point there'll be a buy again. I'm not sure where, but we're watching it. Actually, looks like we're breaking out to new highs again, right? Yep. Yeah, it's really a very strong market. I mean, look at the bars. Look at that. I mean, look at how it reversed everything. And look at how it went through your your
weekly trading zone.
Yeah, and
now, these are last week's zones, and this, guys, I can't tell you enough about the carryover power of the weekly zones, because even though it'll be Thursday before I put this week's zones out to the public, the partners already have them, but look how last week held. And then it spiked it, popped right back, and then we consolidated. Now we're consolidating here. We consolidated up here yesterday. I mean,
yeah, getting above this next area here would be probably very bullish. We might run into a bit of trouble here, but getting above it would be a big deal. Also, I wanted to mention that this, what's going on behind the scenes that really is sort of nobody's paying any attention to, is we kind of went out with a pretty bullish declaration today that getting above that 22,150, 2200, 2220, 22,200 level puts 26,000 as the next interim upside target for the Dow. And while that may look like pie in the sky to people, the weakening dollar, the dollar's fallen about 16% from the highs. The euro has rallied the same, almost 20%. And I think the euro is going to go to about 122, 123, or maybe even 125 before this run is over. So that's sort of like a 36% differential. And when you consider the U.S. exports, most of the Dow stocks have 2/3 of their revenues are coming from overseas. So they're going to get very soon anywhere from a 15 to 30% increase to the bottom line. And the other thing that's going on is the weaker dollar is making the U.S. more competitive. It's making it more attractive as a manufacturing center. And that combined with the upcoming, the likely tax cuts, 15% corporate, is going to make the U.S. an irresistible manufacturing area for the detrimental trend that we had over the last 20 years. So I think that, and then, however Trump renegotiates the NAFTA will also probably help as well. So it's going to be interesting to see how everything plays out. Now, as we've already commented on the show, this Michael Moore character came out yesterday and said that he's predicting a win for Trump in 2020, but he's sort of sarcastically calling it an appointment because he doesn't believe that Trump's going to win the popular vote. I totally disagree with that. I think Trump has the potential to not just win the popular vote, but win it substantially, possibly with a landslide. And the reason is, look, the Twitter, actually, that's a hurricane thing. The Twitter increase in Trump's account has gone up dramatically. Several 100,000 more joined in the last few days. And all of these people who are joining Trump's Twitter are potential converts to vote to Republican votes. He's already created 1 million new jobs. If that continues into the end of the year, that's 2 million new votes for Trump. And as anticipating, let's say by 2018, it's 3 million new votes for Trump from 3 million jobs. That's being conservative. You start to see the numbers kind of going very much in the favor of the administration. And the other thing is the people are going to get, the Trump style is very discomforting to a lot of people because he's doing things that have never been done before. But, this is sort of standard practice in corporate world where you get called out if you're not performing. And he's sort of done that in a way with some of these politicians. And it's probably resonating with his base, and it's probably resonating with a lot of people who are sort of giving him the benefit of the doubt and saying, you know, they're sick and tired of, they're absolutely totally disgusted with the Democrats, which I call the Demnocrats, always saying no. What good are they to anybody? You know, if they're just totally, they don't have any interest in benefiting America.
Right.
So they're in great danger of getting totally thrown out of power in 2018 for the reasons I've already explained, which is that we're on an upward trajectory that's unprecedented after any election in history. And because normally the midterms can be a disaster for the newly elected party because they often go into a recession. That's not happening so far this year, and it doesn't appear likely to happen till getting towards 2020. And you know, look, the average recession doesn't start until 47 months after the Fed starts raising rates, pretty much 4 years, right?
Yeah.
The Fed only started raising rates 2 years ago. I mean, you could hardly call what they've done a rate hike right now, even what's happened already. So we're coming off such a low base as virtually it's actually enhancing the economy. It's not hurting it. So you can almost raise the restart period to where we are today, which actually takes us through 2020 before we get a recession. This is an amazing thing, but it's really possible. And not only that, you've got Japan. Just look what that guy said yesterday, Kuroda, or over the weekend. You know, after this meeting in Jackson Hole, said he's not stopping. You know, he's looking like a hero. He's got 4% in Japan. He's going to keep the pedal to the metal. So is Draghi, because they know if they take the foot off, you know, it might have bad consequences. They don't want to have that happen on their watch. So he's done an amazing job with Euroland so far. And I think he's going to press the issue. You know, he's going to keep it going as long as possible. So that's actually negating anything that the Fed is doing. And it takes that restart to a potential recession even further, you know, towards the end of 2017, which potentially takes us to the 22-23 area, which is what I consider to be, you know, upcoming. You know, we really will have a correction to end all corrections, but not necessarily till 22-23 if Trump gets reelected. And the reason I say that is because it's usually when a president is reelected, they get a 2-year honeymoon before trouble starts, sometimes 3. But usually in the 3rd or 4th year of a second-term presidency, disaster happens in one form or another. So, you know, at some point, Trump will inherit, you know, the plague of a correction, but not necessarily for a long way till then. So with everything going on, and by the way, if you listen to Trump's speech the other day to the American Legion, you know, about the vets, it's a very interesting speech because it's probably one of the best he's made, and actually nobody.
I missed that one.
Well, you definitely want to listen to it because nobody commented on it. Nobody commented or criticized it because it's such a great speech, right? And the interesting thing is that is this October gold going up here?
This is crude oil right here.
Crude.
Yeah. I'll go this is crude. I'll go to the gold chart next.
Right, so I'm gonna pick up here. Yeah, it looks like a good buy here, the crude just now, based on that. So so you got all these positives coming in, but listen to this. You know, I just counted 3 or 4 million votes, right? Let's say, I don't know how many people in the military voted for Trump, you know, what percentage, whether it was 50% or whatever in the last election. But I'd say the number will be closer to 90 or 95 or even, you know, 95% after that speech that he gave a few days ago, because the biggest thing for the vets is the VA, and he's done an unbelievable job so far sorting that VA out and getting it so that people get the care they deserve. And he could really earn some tremendous points from that.
Oh yeah.
So that could put him over the top. Now, if I was Trump, I mean, I wouldn't be wasting any time sorting out the next problem, which is the Hispanics, and issuing some kind of temporary residency status. I think that would be marketable or sellable, if you like, and so that the people who are in the country can sort of become legal over the next few years. That is an election winner, and look, deporting 11 million people is off the table, because that's, in actual fact, Trump's deportations are less than Obama's at the moment, I believe. And because he's really focusing on cleaning up, the criminal element and getting rid of them, and letting the good, the people who aren't in trouble continue, basically continue without getting too seriously harassed. But if they can figure out a way to at least give these people residential status of some sort, and give them some sort of pathway to at least being not being illegal, I think that's a big win. It's a huge win for Trump, and he'd be crazy not to do it. And if he does that over the next 3 years, he could potentially swing the Hispanic vote from 20% to 80% in favor of the Republicans. Then you have to go after the African American vote, or black vote, as you call it, whatever you want to call it. And I think Carson is doing a pretty good job in that regard. But if they can really go after the neighborhoods and improve, fix the situation in Chicago and improve these neighborhoods all around the country, that's another election winner, and that'll take the swing and the black vote much higher for the Republicans. And I think they could do other things that would, convince the black electorate that the Republicans are the people who ended slavery, and the Democrats were the slave masters.
Oh, yeah, they have rewritten that historical fact to such a degree it's unbelievable.
Yeah, exactly.
When segregation or desegregation was voted into law, 80% of Democrats said no. When blacks were given the right to vote, 80% of Democrats voted no. But somehow it's become the Republicans the conservatives who were the, plantation owners and wanted to keep, the people of color, keep them down. And it's unbelievable. I don't know if you ever saw that movie, Hillary's America, I think it was called.
No, I didn't. No.
Oh, yeah, you should see if you can find it on the internet sometime. It goes into great detail, just how sinister they have been over the years. And, of course, she was made for that role. You don't get much more sinister than her.
So, so far look, I think the crude is a pretty good bet here. It's it could be volatile still. It's not, technically it's been under pressure, but it's come down to this 45 area where there's quite a lot of support. Most of the moves in crude have started from the 44, 45 area, and I would expect it to continue to do that. So, I would consider, by the way, I put out a buy on the beans this morning too, and they're acting pretty well today. On the grains in general. They're acting very well, actually, today. And the currencies, the dollar looks like it's topping out here around about the 92. It went from 91.60 or lower up to 92, and it looks like it might be turning over again. So I think the currencies are on a bit of a rebuy right here as well. So we also put a sell out on the 30-year bond last night I think it was about 157.80, got down to 157. Didn't get the bottom yet, so it was still short there. But we'll see. I'd probably put a stop in above 157.5 or something like that, just to be careful. The bonds actually might start falling again if we continue higher in the market, but right now it's the opposite. So it's turning out to be a pretty good day for the markets altogether. Oh, by the way, the cotton as well had a pretty good rally off yesterday's lows, I think. So, but going back to the oil, they've taken 2.5 million barrels per day out of production for the last few days, right? So you could add that up, it could come to about 7 or 8 million barrels. That's going to show up in a week or two, as Ed told us a couple of days ago. Mm-hmm. You can pretty much take that to the bank. And also the ships offshore, if they've been, unable to come into port, that could also create a deficit in the oil. So I think the odds are pretty, given we've been in a deficit now for nearly two months or more, the odds of another deficit this week are fairly high, and next week also. So we could get another rally in the energy, possibly a big one.
Has the S&P turned positive?
No, it's struggling a bit here. The Dow is positive.
It's unusual to see the Dow, the Dow and the S&P on opposite sides of the street. I mean, it's not by much, and by the end of the day, I'm sure it will correct itself. But
well, we could be having one of those Dow streaks again. Remember, that's a pretty big deal. We had the 600-point streak. It could be starting again from this level, from down here. Assuming that everything quietens down here and the market regains. Don't forget, we've got the end of the month coming out, and if some of the data is positive for the end of the month, that's another good thing. Right. That's going to be another good thing. So that could help the market as well. And then we've got the next thing is we're going to be the jobs number the following. Oh, wait a minute, are we going to get I don't know to get the jobs number on Friday.
We've got a ton of news coming out Friday. We got jobs, everything. Yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, if the jobs come out better than expected, which I'm kind of inclined to think they will, then we could have a big move right into the end of the month. Right into the new month, rather.
Well, yeah, Friday will be September 1st. Thursday will be
exactly.
Thursday will be the final trading day for the month of August. This year's just flown by. It's unbelievable.
Yeah. Consensus is 147 to 205. Oh, sorry. Well, the actual consensus range. The consensus is 180. So if they get 200 plus, remember when the GDP is higher, which it is, it should, theoretically, it's for 2.5%, 2.6% GDP, you should get about 260,000 jobs. So if the jobs blow away the expectations, that could be very positive.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't put much stock in those numbers personally, but from a trading perspective, it's the numbers that are given to Wall Street and to Main Street, and so you got to trade based off of them, whether you believe them or not. So.
Absolutely, and the thing is, we're on track for going below 4%, incredible though it may sound. It's really a possibility.
Well, Oh, I spoke to Garrett. He's not going to be here today, but he'll be here on Thursday.
Okay.
Now, do your charts, when the Globex opened last night, do you have charts up, or is your machine still down?
No, I don't have my system right now, so I'm still actually working. I'm still working off delays.
I've got this.
Sorry?
I had this gap down on my charts last night.
Yeah, I think there was a little bit. Listen, some of the things didn't show a gap, and some things did. So I think it's a little bit suspect that. But
well, some people in the audience said they think North Korea shot off another missile, and that might have had something to do with it.
No, they did. They did.
Michael said on an hourly chart that gap doesn't show up. Yes, it does. On mine, it does, but he said on his it didn't. And we're using the same platform and the same data feed. So,
hold on a minute. Let me just check something here.
I saw that, I didn't put the alerts out until 4 a.m. Eastern because I wasn't sure what this was about, and I had some other things going on, and I wanted to kind of see where the market was headed. But did you see the Nasdaq? We had a $1,200 move. We said to buy 58.04 in the email that went out, and the thing ran up 60 points at $20 a point.
Yeah.
And that's after gapping lower on the open, according to this chart.
It looks like we're going to go positive on the S&P here. We're creeping up on the Dow and the Nasdaq, which is good.
Yeah, the ES. Now that's a zone from last week overhead. Let me take a look at my sheet.
By the way, another thing that
we're running, I'll just tell everybody, 44, 45, guys, we're running into a zone from this week. Okay, I can't give them all out until Thursday, but 44, 45 is a weekly zone this week. So this may be all we see for the upside today. That may be it. And if so, we're going to come back down to 37.38. Okay, so go ahead, John.
I wouldn't rule that out. Obviously, if we do run into trouble with your indicators, it could, if it backs off, it could back off a lot. And remember, look, we've had a bit of a test on the gold. We got up to 1330 this morning. Now we're coming back. The same with the silver, coming back. But then, we might, the gold has got a lot of power in it, and it could easily run up. I mean, just for the audience's benefit, think about this now. I was thinking about it this morning. Ever since the bottom at 1047, there probably been, God, I don't know, there's probably been at least a dozen attacks, hack attacks on the gold, like trying to break the gold down. And, they were successful from August 16 down through the bottom of 2017. But ever since the bottom, really, in 2017, they have failed miserably trying to short the gold and silver. And now the gold is making new highs. Those guys, if they may be so up themselves that they think they can control the market, and they may be short. They may be caught short, if you like. So, as I've pointed out before, the short interest doesn't necessarily happen at the bottom. It didn't happen in 2009 at the bottom of the stock market. It actually happened in 2011, and that's hard to comprehend when the market had already rallied pretty much to new all-time highs in the net transports and the mid-cap. You say, how can that happen? Well, I don't understand how it can happen, but it's just one of those things. People piled on the shorts as the rally was increasing, thinking that they were right, that it was going to go back down again. And the same thing happened with the silver. We didn't see the all-time short interest when silver bottomed at 14 back in between 15 and 16, right at the end of the year. I think it got down to 1380 actually, and but the short interest peaked a few months ago at the secondary low in silver when it, remember we recently tested the 15 area, 14, 15 area, 15 I guess. The mini flash crash that supposedly happened was readjusted. It was supposedly went to 1430, but they canceled all the trades, remember, and it ended up being about 15 or 15 and a half, the retest. And we said on the show at the time, to us that looked very, very bullish, because if you go back to the flash crash in the S&P, it happened at 105 on the S&P, and or the equivalent of 105 on the SPY, and the SPY is about 240 something today, 240 around 240 or so. So we've more than doubled in the S&P from there. If you take that idea and overlay it on the silver and gold, and you measure the time taken and cut it in half, because gold tends to happen twice as much as the stock market, twice as fast. You can make a pretty strong argument for a $3,000 gold price by 2020. And I really believe now, quite sincerely, that we're going to hit 2,000 in 2018, and we're probably going to go up to 3,000 by 2020. And I think we'll hit 4,000 by 2022. And if we get a repeat of the 1980s, which I'm also of the belief that we will, we could get a surge up to about 8,750, sometime in 23 or 24. Because when the real currency crisis happens, and a lot of the debt and everything else comes to a head, and who knows, there could be all kinds of strife by 23 or 24 that could contribute.
Yeah. Did you see this bonus that Tim Cook got?
Yeah.
$89.2 million worth of Apple shares. A regulatory filing shows he was awarded the shares because Apple stock outperformed at least 2/3 of businesses in the S&P 500 index over 3 years. That's incredible.
Well, I don't, he's somewhat deserves. Look, you say a lot of things about Apple, but
he stepped into some big shoes. He had.
What they did, what they're doing every day is nothing short of phenomenal. I mean, I think they manufacture about 50,000 phones a day. 50,000 phones a day. Can you imagine? The logistics involved in that are just mind-boggling. Or 50,000 products a day. Let's call it products. Between everything they're doing. I mean, it's almost unimaginable what happens today in all kinds of manufacturing industries around the world. And look at the plane business. There's more planes on order today than ever in history. There's about 12,000 planes in the pipeline to be built. It's just incredible. You kind of, unless you buy a kind of a used plane like the U.S. government buying for its new Air Force One's jets, was a great deal for Boeing, because they got shafted by the Russians. I don't know whether they got paid for those planes or not. They probably didn't. So being able to sell them to the government and get a couple of $1 billion for doing it as well sounds like a pretty good deal for Boeing. But compared to Yahoo and the girl who was running Yahoo, what she ripped that company off for, it just makes Tim Cook look saintly.
There's an article here that says now that the Amazon Whole Foods deal has gone through, that a lot of the prices in Whole Foods stores have dropped as much as 43%. Mm-hmm. Now, I'm sure a lot of that is to lure people in, get them enjoying that organic Whole Foods lifestyle, and then those prices will creep back up, because he's not going to run a charity. He's going to make a profit. you know, maybe his buying power allows him to buy cheaper. But I mean, I always felt Whole Foods was overpriced. We didn't go there. And plus, the other supermarket chains like Safeway and your big ones here in Phoenix, they are starting. They just started years ago carrying. They have like a little section where you get organic produce, and it's definitely cheaper than Whole Foods. Now, the other thing, and I don't know how in the world they expect this to work, and the movie theaters are very upset about it, but have you heard about this new Movie Pass?
Yeah, I have, yeah.
$10 a month, and you can go to as many movies and theaters as you want for an entire month. I mean, I don't even think there's 30 movies out in a month. When MoviePass first made it public that it intended to offer members access to, it's one movie a day. Okay, one movie a day at over 90% of theaters in the U.S. for just $9.95 a month, the announcement was met with a lot of skepticism. That was at least partly because the deal seems too good to be true, since the average price of a movie ticket hit an all-time high of $8.84 in the first quarter of 2017. According to the National Association of Theater Owners, MoviePass loses money if members see just 2 movies a month. The company, which was started by Netflix co-founder Mitch Lowe, told Motley Fool in an email that it plans to cover its deficits by selling the data it amasses. That seems a little far-fetched, but that's what Ted Farnsworth, CEO of Helios and Matheson Analytics Incorporated, which owns MoviePass, told us. For now, it's selling access at $9.95 a month. And while it seems too good to be true, it does actually work. And while it's not a particularly smooth system, it got me a ticket to a movie without too much trouble. MoviePass promises access to 1 movie a day, every day. MoviePass is worth noting. It has actually been around for a while at price points ranging from $30 to $50 a month. Now, those prices make sense. At these prices, it essentially had the same model as many gyms, where it offers just enough value that people don't quit even when they're not getting their money's worth. To get and use MoviePass, consumers must do 5 things: download the app on an Android or an iOS phone, wait 5 to 7 business days for your card to arrive, go to the theater where the movie you intend to see is playing. When you're within 100 yards of the theater, you can check in and essentially tell the app you intend to buy a ticket. Use your MoviePass, it's a MasterCard debit card, to buy your ticket at a kiosk. When I first used this system, I walked over to a movie theater owned by AMC, and a company that came out strongly against MoviePass. The theater chain called the $8.95 offer not in the best interest of moviegoers, movie theaters, and movie studios in a press release, and said it is pursuing legal strategies to block it. You know, these theater owners should be, because the company MoviePass, you know, they're having to eat. The theater owners are still getting full price from MoviePass for the ticket. But more and more people are going to be going to the movies because this is such a good deal. And, you know, where movie theaters really make a large percentage of their money is off those $10 barrels of popcorn and those $5 soda pops and those $7 hot dogs and, you know, those boxes of candy. It's ridiculous what they charge for snacks in movie theaters today. I would think the theaters would be all over this and just absolutely love it. So I don't know why they're fighting back or fighting. For every film I see, MoviePass pays my local AMC full price, roughly between $9 and $11 for any non-3D or IMAX film. I generally see maybe 2 to 3 movies a month, perhaps more in the summer. With MoviePass, I will probably see at least 1 movie each weekend, bringing along my wife and son. That's roughly $120 worth of movie tickets a month that MoviePass must buy on $29.85 in revenue without getting any sort of kickback from the theater chains. I don't know. I don't think this is going to be around very long. We'll see. Anything else you want to add today, John?
No, thanks. Thanks for the invite. Good to talk to you. And,
Okay, brother. We'll talk to you
all right,
tomorrow.
all the best.
Okay.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. I mean, so I have a family of 4. So if we wanted to do the MoviePass thing, we would actually have to shell out $40. Now, we're not a family that typically goes to the $8, $9, $10 a ticket movies. We just wait a few weeks, and then it's over at Tempe Town Theater or something. I don't know. It's not too far from where we live, and it's $2. So, and we have the Fire Stick, and we have the Kodi software on the Fire Stick from Amazon. So you can watch in the comfort of your own home and eat your own snacks movies that are in the theater today. I don't know how they do it. I don't. My buddy helped me get the software installed, and I didn't ask too many questions. So, okay. Picking up science and the Bible. I think today's day 6 that we've been on this topic for a good word for the day. In Genesis 6:14 through 15. Build a large boat 450 feet long, 75 feet wide, and 45 feet high. The Bible detailed the original blueprint for shipbuilding. In Genesis, God told Noah to build a 42,000 cubic meter ship and fill it with enough people and animals to repopulate the earth. And the specific dimension that God gave Noah turned out to be significant. In 1609, in Hoom, Holland, a ship was built in the same proportions, and it revolutionized shipbuilding. According to Lloyd's Register of Shipping, see the World Almanac for that, or Google. By 1900, every large ship on the high seas was inclined towards the proportions of Noah's Ark. Okay, I had to mute John's mic for him. By 1900, every large ship on the high seas was inclined towards the proportions of Noah's Ark. And by the way, if you think it's not sophisticated or educated to believe that the world was once destroyed by a universal flood, think again. About 85% of the rock surfaces around the world are composed of sedimentary rock, indicating that at some time in the past the world was covered by water. That's science. Consider also, now, you know, I've done a lot of thinking about the Ark in my days. Number one, he spent a long time building it, and it had never rained. So I've read, which made it even stranger as his neighbors would come by, and I don't know, they probably like threw beer cans at him and stuff, and called him crazy. And then there was that movie, that comedy, Noah's Ark. But I picture being in the Ark with all these animals. You know what? Now, they were out there for 40 days and 40 nights. You know, when the elephant and the zebra and the llama all got to go poo-poo at the same time, that's got to kick up a smell, man. Yeah, I'll leave it at that. Some of you haven't had lunch yet. I mean, I still don't understand how it was done, but hey, it's in the book, and I believe the book. So, consider also the Bible in meteorology. Solomon wrote in Ecclesiastes 1:6, "The wind blows to the south and turns to the north. Round and round it goes, ever returning on its course." Ecclesiastes 1:6. The air around the earth turns in huge circles, anti-clockwise in the northern hemisphere and clockwise in the southern hemisphere. Have you ever, and I'm sure you have, so you don't have to raise your hand or anything, flushed your toilet and watched the water swirl down? In Australia, when you flush a toilet, it swirls in the opposite direction. Some of you may have stood on the equator. We did this. I've crossed the equator a bunch of times in the Navy. The first time you go across, you're a polywog, and the people on the ship who have crossed before are called shellbacks. And for a full day, the shellbacks get to beat the living tar out of all the polywogs. They take fire hoses and soak them in salt water, and you got to crawl all over the ship, and they whack you with those things, and they make you crawl through garbage and filth, and whoever the fattest guy on the ship is, they put grease all over his belly, and you got to kiss his. It's disgusting, man. The first time I crossed, there were two guys who were like conscientious objectors. They refused to go through it. So they were ostracized. So I went through it. I took my beating. And then when it was time to cross again, I had already been issued my shellback card, laminated in my wallet, and, you know, all my buddies, if that's what you want to call them, they're like, man, they were getting all excited. They were like foaming at the mouth about, you know, how they were going to get to wail on these, you know, 17, 18, 19-year-old kids, you know, and they were talking about all the dirty things they were going to do to them. And, you know, what are you going to do, Reese? I said, I'm going to stay in my rack and read. What? What are you, crazy? You know, what are you, a wimp? I go, no, I don't think I'm a wimp. I let you guys beat the crap out of me, but I'm not going to inflict that kind of insanity on another human being. Are you crazy? I mean, I don't know how that tradition ever got started, but anyway. The air turns around the earth in huge circles, anti-clockwise in the northern hemisphere and clockwise in the southern hemisphere. As a result, your local meteorologist can tell you with a high degree of accuracy what the weather will be like so you can dress accordingly. The Bible. There's simply no other book like it. When you believe its central message of salvation through Christ, you have peace and joy, not in the hereafter, not someday, not, you know, when the dead in Christ shall rise, not in the over yonder by and by, not on the other side of the river Jordan, but now, right here, right now. Jesus said, I come to give you life and life more abundant. Someday. That's not what he said. You know, I come to give you life and life more abundant. When you get to heaven, you got to die first, you know. That's not what he said. He said, I come to give you life and life more abundant. Period. Now, I'm not part of the name it, claim it bunch, and not part of the whole prosperity gospel thing. Now, I'll be on, you know me, Mr. Transparent. In 1996, when I was 37, I got caught up in it for a minute. Okay? And it didn't take long, and I got uncaught up in it. I mean, I believe that God wants to bless his children. I mean, what father doesn't want to bless his children? Or mother, but the stuff about, if you believe it, you can achieve it, and you can manifest a Cadillac up in your driveway if you just think about it hard enough. I mean, and if you showed up at church and you're not in a Cadillac, people will be whispering behind your back, well, I wonder what he did. Or you get a cold. Colds are caused by germs. People will be whispering behind your back, I think I saw him coming out of a club the other night. Yeah, that's why he's sick. That's so ridiculous. Anyway. Oh my goodness. Oh, and there's this one guy. I interviewed him in the early days of CFRN. One time. Because, and he's like a really kind of a famous guy. He's got followers all over the world. He's not a really famous TV preacher like Benny Hinn, but I'm telling you, he's got a huge following. And he believes that God will tell you when to buy and sell. I almost ended the interview in the middle of the interview. I didn't let it go very long. I was told how awesome this guy was by my first mentor, and man, that was just creepy. Anyway, so in case any of you are wondering, that's not how that works. And how do I know? Okay, I'm going to tell you how I know. Two Christians walk out of a bar. They both go back to the office. They sit down in their cubicles. They're both traders. They both like to trade the S&P. One goes long and one goes short. Now, which one is God gonna bless? The one that only had iced tea at the bar? Or the one that prays the most? Or the one that tithes the full 10% and gives gifts and offerings? You know what I'm saying? Or the one that takes a pilgrimage once a year to some third world country to help the needy? Now, see, I had been begging God to help me become successful in my trading for quite some time. Okay, my office was in the church downtown, and after everybody went home, I would be the only one there. And some people have a prayer closet, like an extra bedroom or something. I had this incredible sanctuary, just mind-blowing, built in 1939. Anyway, I would fall out on my face and literally cry out, why aren't you helping me? I got these orphans to feed, and I'm blah blah blah, it's not right, you got me into this. Oh Lord, the things I said. And so one day, I wore myself out. I stopped crying out. I just shut up. That's when, through the power of the Holy Spirit, he was able to get a word in edgewise, and he told me that little story about the two traders that walked out of the bar and went back to work. Okay, all right. You know I'm editorializing here, but that I got clarity that day, and I got up off the floor, and I was pretty bummed out because I got his point, you know. Didn't matter what position I took in any futures market, you know, somewhere on the globe there was somebody that loved God just as much as I did, and they had the exact opposite position. So, coming to the realization that I wasn't going to get him to move the markets just for me, you know, even though I was going to do great works with the money, you know, I was pretty bummed. Thankfully, I stopped just before I left the sanctuary, and I said, "Isn't there anything you can do to help me?" And then I was actually quiet. I asked a question, and I shut up. I asked the question and just stood there. And clear as day, I didn't hear Charlton Heston's voice or anything, but clear as day, I heard, "Of course I can help you." "You can? What about the two traders who walked out of the bar?" And he said, "I go, tell me how you'll help me. I'll do anything." What? "Well, I'll fast, I'll stand on my head, just what?" And he said, "You have to learn how to trade." I go, "Well, that's what I've been trying to do." And he said, "No, you haven't. You just been, you everything that everybody who knows anything about trading has told you to do, you've broken every rule. You just sit in your cubicle and just click your mouse, you know. If you don't have two hooks in the water, you don't feel alive, and that's nonsense. You have to learn how to trade." And you know, I literally didn't know what that meant at the time. This is going way back to 2006. I literally didn't know what that meant. And I called up some people that I knew who had experience in the trading business, and I asked them to train me and teach me, and nope, not happening. Not happening. So I began a solitary journey of reading, learning, observing. I got out of the live market and got into the simulator. I stopped trading enormous size. I stopped trading other people's money. I got real humble and went to the simulator with one contract, even in the simulator, because I knew that when I went live it would have to be with one contract. And I did not become an overnight sensation overnight. A lot of trial and error, a lot of aha moments, a lot of epiphanies, some disappointments, some concerns, But stuck it out. Because somehow I just knew that's where I was supposed to be. And so, I'm speaking to somebody, whoever you are. You could be one mouse click away from going round the mountain 40 times to actually starting up the mountain towards your pinnacle of success, okay? So don't give up. Don't throw in the towel. Step back. Get quiet. And have a good look at yourself. Have a good look at yourself. I was having a conversation with a gentleman yesterday afternoon. He traded equities and he got tired of losing money in equities, so he moved to futures. And he's been in futures for a couple months. And I hated to ask, but I had to. I said, so how much you lose in futures? He said, about $3,000. I don't know, well, that's not bad. And considering you haven't had any training, it's not bad, I guess. He goes, yeah. I said, but now that you're with us, you're in the simulator and you're going through the learning process, right? And he said, no. I go, what? I go, we absolutely positively tell you that you gotta stay in the simulator until you prove yourself consistently profitable. 10 days in a row where you make $100 gross in 10 trades or less. He said, you're right. He goes, I know that's what I need to do. I said, okay. Now the question is, are you going to actually do it? And he said, yeah, I will. I said, you promise? I said, because I don't really know you. You've just come aboard, and I don't know how much resources you have, but I sure don't want to see you bleed out on the trading floor, you know. He said, okay, all right. I'm going to take your advice. I'm going to go in the simulator. I'm going to start working on learning the strategy as you teach it and not mix in all these other things and whatnot. Very nice guy, bright guy, but just like all the rest of us. How many of us did that exact same thing? I know I sure did. But I finally reached my pain threshold, and there was nowhere left to turn except to learn how to trade. And because there was nobody to teach me, I had to teach myself. Mike Reed did give me some help. He was really busy, but we spent a little time on the phone together. Then I met Michael, and we kind of stumbled and struggled together. Anyway, let's finish up this devotional here. I think we're almost done. Okay, because we know that the air around the Earth turns in huge circles anti-clockwise in the northern hemisphere and clockwise in the southern hemisphere. As a result, your local meteorologist can tell you with a high degree of accuracy what the weather will be like, so you can dress accordingly. The Bible, there's simply no other book like it. When you believe its central message of salvation through Christ, you have peace and joy. Now, today, in this moment, right here, right now. Plus, on top of that, you do get to live in heaven with God for eternity when you do die. Doesn't get better than that. Now, I have met some Christian people in my life who are the most miserable, unhappy people I have ever met. You don't want to hang around with them. Are they saved? In order they believe in the cross and salvation and all these kinds of things? Yeah. But their view of Christianity is, all right, I had to give up smoking and drinking and blah 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 and all the other things I did, and I said I repeated the recipe that they told me to say, the magical incantation. I said it, and so now I'm a Christian and I'm saved and I'm gonna go to heaven, and life sucks. It's to get born again and then just wait till you die. Come on. He said, I come to give you life and life more abundant. As believers, we should be filled with joy. And what I've found is when we get our mind off of ourself, our own wants, needs, desires, and we start focusing on other people, on their wants, needs, and desires. Whatever problems or issues we have, God just seems to kind of slip in and fix stuff. While you're sleeping, He fixes stuff. Because you don't sit around all day staring at the wall, thinking about every problem you got. You're too busy doing good stuff, making the world a better place. Now, different people will be called to do different things. Some are called to preach, some are called to teach, some are called to sing. Some are called to build houses for widows, get teenage boys off the street. I mean, goodness gracious. There's no better feeling than when you know that you've done something for someone that it's going to change their quality of life as they know it forever. And here's the kicker. There's no way they can ever pay you back or return the favor. Man, that feels good. And if you've never experienced that, I beg you to get up and this weekend go somewhere and perform some selfless act. Something that's not gonna get you anything. No award, no trophy. You're not going to get a handshake with the mayor. It is going to go out there. It might be hot. You're going to sweat. I don't know. Maybe you're just going to pass out water, ice cold water to the homeless. Whatever. Just do something. Do something selfless for people that will never be able to pay you back or return the favor. Do it. Do it, do it, do it. I remember when my wife and I first started going down to Mexico to Rocky Point. We had just gone for a weekend because we just needed to get away from the office. We were building a company at the time, and we hadn't taken any time off, and we were pretty tattered and torn. And so we decided, Rocky Point's a 4-hour drive from Phoenix. There's the Sea of Cortez there. So it's 2 hours closer to the ocean than going to San Diego. And so we went, and I got up early that Saturday morning, and I was like walking around, looking in the little stores and the RV parks and stuff on the beach, and I wandered into this laundry room, and up on the wall was a flyer, and it said Saturday Soup Kitchen, and it talked about how these gringos down in Rocky Point, every Saturday at a certain time, they met at a certain place, and they went out into the barrio, and they fed the hungry. And it said, we always need volunteers, call us at this number, or just meet us here at this time. And so I got so excited. I went home, I went back to the little trailer we were staying in, and I told my wife, and I'm like, "Can we go? Can we go? Can we go?" You know, and she goes, "Okay." Oh man, we both got bit by the bug that day. We got there and we met the gringos, and they were very nice. And she got assigned a task, and I got assigned a task. And then the people started to come, mostly women and children. We probably fed 200 that day. And then I noticed that some of the kids, not the moms, but the kids, like, they would get their soup and their hot dog, and they would go back and get at the back of the line. And by the time, you know, they finished their dog and their soup, they were back up to the front of the line. And I went over to one of the guys. I'm like, "Hey man, you know, some of the kids, they're coming up here twice." And he's like, "Brother, this may be the only food they get this week, or for the today, or for the weekend, or so you know what? We just act like we don't notice." I said, "Oh, that's cool. Okay." After that, we spent about 3 years going every other weekend. We smuggled so much stuff down there. One time we smuggled like 40 turkeys at Thanksgiving. We got busted, but they let us go because they knew it was for a good cause. And then one time we got busted with, like, I don't know, 100 dolls, baby dolls for kids. And, the lady, Border Patrol, Mexican lady, because we were going into Mexico, she just stood there and she found them hid behind the seat of the truck, and the whole we had them crammed in there, and she just kept staring, and then she picked this one up, and she was really looking at this one doll in particular very intently. And my wife speaks just enough Spanish to keep us out of jail. And she told her, she said, she asked, "Do you have a daughter?" And she said, "Yes." And my wife said, "Do you think she would like that?" And the Border Patrol lady said, "Oh, yes." And my wife says, "Well, take it to her." And her face lit up, and she said, "Okay, have a nice weekend." And she put the seat back up on the truck in the back, and our club cab, you know, I had a lot of stuff behind that seat. And one time we weren't so lucky. When you take a new TV down there, you're supposed to take it out of the box, and you're supposed to, like, beat it with a chain so it doesn't look like a brand new TV, you know. Well, not me. I'm just flying across the border with my brand new TV in the box, and we get pulled over. And the guy makes me get out. See, they have this red light, green light system, so sometimes you don't even have to stop. You get a green light, but you get a red light. The guy comes over, he looks, he opens the box, he sees what it is, brand new TV, and he's like, "Come with me, please." I'm like, "Oh boy." We go into this little room, and he says, "So, that's a brand new TV?" I said, "Yes, sir." He goes, "You didn't declare it." I go, "I know." At the time, our truck was brand new. This was back in 2001 or 2002. He said, "Do you know I could confiscate your truck?" I said, "Yes, sir, I know. I know you could." He said, "But I'm not going to." I was like, "Oh, thanks." He goes, "But I'm going to fine you." I said, "Okay." I didn't know. I had no clue. And he says, "It's going to be $30. I said, "Okay. Thank you." And I reached into my pocket, and he goes, "Do you need a receipt?" And I said, "No, sir." He said, "Well, then 20 will do." So I handed him a $20 bill. He said, "No, next time you declare it." I go, "Okay, I will." And he shoved my 20 in his pocket, and off we went. with our TV. So they didn't take anything. So God's good. But, you know, yes, the message of salvation is important. We're talking eternity. But don't waste your whole life. I mean, He put you here on planet Earth for some purpose, you know. Something more than to moan and groan and complain. And get busy. Make the world a better place. Or sweep your neighbor's driveway. I don't know, something. There's somebody you know, I bet, that needs something done that they can't do for themselves because they're elderly or they're handicapped or they're too short or I don't know. And if you don't know anybody, then just go find a stranger. You know, go to the homeless shelter in your town and ask can you serve or clean up afterwards or whatever. I'm telling you. It doesn't make sense. I'm going to go down there and I'm going to work 8 hours. I'm going to sweat and get all dirty and nasty. Yeah. But when you get home, you're going to feel a joy and a happiness that you may have never known before. Try it. I dare you. Still carnal. Still carnal. Can I speak Spanish? No. Nope. So, what's still carnal, Ron? Hello? I'm not sure. Alright, never mind. It doesn't matter. Okay, so it looks like the market has topped out here at that 44.45 weekly trading zone. So it's kind of where it topped out yesterday. Oh, you were talking about unhappy Christians. Okay. Yes, I feel very sorry for them, and I'm speaking to this audience. I'm sure in this audience, probably most people are believers because we're the Christian Financial Radio Network, and I'm sure there's some people in this audience that don't have any real joy in their life right now. But still carnal. I'm not sure if I'm putting it. Anyway, it doesn't matter. I know you just agreed with me, I guess. So, okay, guys, I guess that's going to do it. We've done our good word for the day. Took a look at some headlines. Talked to John. Garrett's going to be here Thursday. I'm assuming Wayne Jett will be here tomorrow. I told you that we are going to be going deep into the world of the cryptocurrencies, and we're not picking a particular one that we're going to champion because we think that's the one that's going to survive. No, it's more about the concept and the technology. The blockchain technology, the distributed ledger technology. That's how we're approaching it. Now, since I didn't have time today to really prepare anything to teach you, I'll just share with you the Whopper coin. It's part of a loyalty program launched by Burger King Russia. Have you ever wanted to trade something fun rather than boring stuff like oil, iron ore, or shares? Maybe something like burgers? Now you can. Kinda. Burger King in Russia has just announced a new loyalty program using virtual coins called Whopper Coins, which is hosted on the Waves blockchain platform. Waves allows users to swap and trade blockchain tokens which have an inherent value on a peer-to-peer exchange. A supply of 1 billion Whopper coins have been issued so far, and customers will receive 1 Whopper coin for every ruble spent. $1 is 59 ruble. They can redeem 1 Whopper burger with 1,700 Whopper coins, which are stored in a digital wallet. While the Whopper cryptocurrency is a bit of a gimmick, customers can still trade and transfer the coins just like any other cryptocurrency. Whopper Coin even has its own dedicated asset page, which describes it as a token for buying burgers in Russian Burger King and for the stock exchange. Burger King Russia says it will release an app for the program in the Apple Store and Google Play in September. Now, Whopper is not only a burger that people in 90 different countries love, it's an investment tool as well, said Ivan Shestov, head of external communications at Burger King Russia. While Shestov says eating Whoppers now is a strategy for financial prosperity tomorrow. It may be a bit of a stretch. Free burgers is something I'll always put my hand up for. Okay, that's going to do it, guys. I hope you have a wonderful Tuesday afternoon. Tomorrow's hump day. It's here again. Oh my goodness. Time does fly. Listen, thanks so much for tuning in today. If you haven't taken the trial, go to apply.cfrn.net. Apply.cfrn.net. Okay? Now, you're limited really to one trial every 6 months, 2 trials per lifetime. But if you come to us and say, man, I took the trial, but I don't know, I didn't pay attention, will you give me a second chance? The answer is yes. We will. We will give you a second chance. But ask, okay? Would you do that? I was going to show you something. Where is that? Where did it go? Maybe I didn't post it. Maybe I did. Hold on. Give me 1 minute, and then we'll say our goodbyes. Come on. Huh. I thought I wrote... I guess I never posted it. Huh. Well, fancy that. Okay. I made a video last night. Where'd it go? I thought I just had it. This is all very strange. Oh. If you're an active partner, I'm gonna guess you really should watch this. I made this video last night. I don't know why it doesn't have a picture showing up. What's going on over on YouTube? Does it show a picture over there? Doodly doot, Doodly-doo. Yeah. Anyway, I wrote the headline, or the thing I wrote on emini.cfrn.net. Said if you're an active partner, I'm going to guess you really should watch this. But I've thought about it. If you're an inactive partner, you can always become active again. And once you do that, then you really should watch this. Okay? All right. Sarai? Sarai. Okay. All right. Love you guys. Thanks so much for tuning in today. Whoever you are, wherever you are, may God continue to richly bless you with His mercy and with His grace. And I'll see you at the bell.
Remember this, there is no greater return on investment than to see a human life changed and given hope. As always, pray hard and trade safe. Any financial information discussed on this show is simply the opinion of our host, Dwayne Reeves, his co-hosts, and guests. To learn more about trading Emini Futures or to take a 1-week free trial in our live trading room, call 1-866-928-3310. 866-928-3310. Information discussed on this radio program should not be construed as a recommendation to buy or sell any security. Always do your own due diligence and consult with a licensed securities broker or financial planner before making any investment decision.